Hey, part 4. Here we go. So, I left off where we put the wipers on. Off camera, I did the knuckle adjuster arms. Sorry. The little turnbuckles, or whatever you want to call these guys. This guy goes to your servo. These guys go to your knuckle. And you can adjust toe with these two, right? Anyway, that's where that is. So I'll put that over here for a couple of seconds. I've gone ahead and opened up the diff. This is your differential. This is one of your drive mouths here. On the other side, you have the same. That's your spider. This guy sits together like that. It sits inside your transmission case with bearings either side. When you get it, it's essentially an open diff, right? Yes, you can add fluid to make it more resistance, or you can be like me where you don't care for any, clutch that kind of still has movement and that kind of stuff. I've always used a solid diff between super glue and all kinds of ways of locking the diff. I've done it with a Sprint 2 diffs. We used to throw clips in there until I've, had a brain fart and got a hot glue gun. Oh, excuse me. Yeah. So now you open it up. You throw hot glue in here, so it's pretty much level with the top of the spider gears. These little guys here. Obviously preheated the sucker. And here we go. Yeah. I squeeze quite a bit in there. I kind of cover the teeth like that. There's plenty of liquid in there right now. And that's AKA welding your diff. All right. If you have a real drift car or any kind of car where you don't need a differential, you usually weld between the ring and the spider gear or the pinion gear in some cars, or 90% of cars. Anyway, and then we throw these little 1.5s back in here and tighten them up, and then we can go to the next bag, which is bag 4. So here we go. As you throw those in there, and take my trusty friend here and swap it to the 1.5 MIP bit. Boom. And you don't have to go crisscross, but I usually do. It's just a habit. And 4 of these little guys. And by the time you've put them all 4 in, that baby is locked. Like, it's locked. That's how I do my diffs. Because I know it works, and I've done, many diffs. Another bag to the collection of bags on the floor here. The motor plate. I might as well open it up now. Obviously, it's exactly what it is. It's a motor plate. These 4 holes will go onto your transmission right here, or the casing for the transmission, sorry. It's pretty much like that. Now, there is a way to modify this, a very simple way, because the motor will be sitting below the transmission here. It's great. Don't get me wrong, it works amazing. But if you're keen to try, a mod and you want to do it for free, here we go. You'll turn it up like this. That'll align just one hole, right? Right there. That'll align one hole here. So all you have to do now is, and I don't see the need for more than 2 screws, but there's 4 screws in this plate. Anyway, what I do now is I take one of the other screws and I'll screw it in here till it leaves a mark against this plate. You pop it off and you'll have your mark. You drill that mark out. If you have a drill and a tap, that is, let me tell you what it is actually. The tap size that you'd like to use would be a 3mm tap is what you want. I don't know if you guys can see the lettering on here, but it's a 3mm tap, right? And that's exactly the same thread pitch that these come with. And if you turn this in really carefully without cross-threading it, it'll thread right in like a normal screw would, right? It's not too loose. That's the guy you want, right? So I usually take, give me a drill. I usually take this drill, which obviously has, does it have anything on it? I don't even know, but yeah, I usually have this drill and tap handy for this kind of thing. But yeah, that's what I would do. I'd make that mark, drill it with this drill, tap it with a tap. That way, if you thread in here, it actually grabs the plate and holds onto it. Nothing stops you from doing, if you have a very small, bolt and nut. That's one way to do it, but I usually just drill and tap them. That way I know it's good. Anyway, one more bag. Well, I shouldn't say one more bag. A whole bunch of more bags. And this little bag here would be Spur gear, which is a 84 at 48 pitch, I believe. The Spur gear holder, which that dude sits right on there. There's 4 holes. You screw the little button heads that come with it in it, right? And you have a set screw and a pin. So the pin will go through the input shaft, and then the set screw will hold it all in place. But I'll get to that when I get to it. First things first, I need to open all these bags. It's just 1 million bags. It's kind of lame. But you know, that's how they ship them, unfortunately. I need to get new glasses. These glasses are annoying. They keep on dropping off my face. Yeah, anyway. So I'm opening all the bags, getting all the little bolts out. This one's really cool. I like this part of the book too, because you get to put the whole thing together and make sure everything's nice and meshed and running smoothly and all that good stuff that goes with it. So that's the bearings. There's all the bolts, the long ones, tapered head ones obviously go through the bottom of the chassis into the gearbox or transmission or the casing, or pick your one, whichever one you like. So, really simple. We'll take this casing, right? This is the one where the input shaft would go right through and stick the other side. That's where the spur goes onto. And then your diff mouths will come out here, or your out drive. So anyway, so we have our trusty diff that we just hot glued. We throw a bearing on this side, make sure it's seated all the way. Bearing on this side, seated all the way. I'll throw her ends along, and you'll feel it sits in a little mouth. Then we have 2 idler gears, right? Which has bearings either side on each one of them. So we'll throw that in the one side. Yeah, try and put it in straight, Afro, come on. Anyway. Pretty easy to put them in scoop. And they do go in there really nice and snug. This is some soft pit mat. I had to remove the logos and stuff because I'm not sponsored or advertising them. So anyway, one day maybe. That's your input shaft, right? So the power, why I say this is the input shaft is because the power gets put inside the tranny by this shaft. And then it has this little gear here that'll run on another 2 idler gears, and then it'll run onto the diff. You'll see it all fall in place as I throw it in here. It's pretty cool. It has these pins. They sit in your casing as well. It's very well designed, and this is a very old design, I have to say. Anyway, there's your diff, right? There's your input. There's the 2 idler gear shafts. 1 idler gear goes here. There's no shims, no nothing. It's so well designed that you don't have to worry about any of that nonsense. So there are, like you say, input shaft spins, diff spins. And why there's 2 is to kind of, you know, while this is rotating this way, this one rotates to the ground. That kind of deal. Anyway, now we can throw, obviously, the opposite side of the casing on here. Boom, boom. I'm just going to cut this little sprue mark off because it's ugly as hell. Can't stand these marks, man. I hate them. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, there's your casing. That quick, right? There's your input, the gearing, and the output, right? Or the diff mouth, or CVD cup, or pidit. There's so many million words for these things. It's unreal. Yeah. Got the book for in case I mess up. Now, obviously, the motor plate goes on. So the more upgraded plates that you get would have a lot thicker aluminum with some finning, like little fins, so the heat can dissipate through that, and the rotation of this guy moves air in that area, and it cools down pretty much your motor, you know. And then you can obviously put a fan on this bad boy, and it doesn't end. Anyway, I should probably throw some screws in this sucker. So some small ones up over here. 1, 2, go in there. 3 on the bottom. 4 towards the front. No, I like. So 3 short ones, and then 3 long ones that'll go into your motor plate, right? Yeah, and then obviously the upgraded version of this is adjustable, so you can move that weight around, but not much. They almost want you to go top mounted, and then the other shorty would go on this side of the casing. No, I got that wrong. I'm overthinking this. Anyway, so just these 3 here and the small 3 in the back of the casing. Let me throw them together. Sorry for the noise, guys. No, I was right. Anyway, I was right. So those guys you can crank down quite a bit because it's into this metal, right? And that locks this top pretty good. The bottom ones, you don't want to overdo them. You don't need to. That one's nice and tight. It's metal into plastic, so Of course, the metal will rip the threads apart or the plastic apart. And then we throw one of these guys in this side of the plate, like I said previously, and then I said no, but now I'm saying yes. Alrighty. Now we can take this pin, right, and in this input shaft there's a hole, and you want to obviously slide that through there. Now be aware that if you do, she can drop out the back end, or if you turn this thing in any direction where the pin can now slide out, it'll slide out, definitely. Anyhow, now I have this set screw that I got to put into that hub carrier, or the spur carrier, and definitely thread locker or nail polish. It is a necessity. I've had so many guys on the track with new chassis, and then yeah, before you know it, they go on the track, they go ripping, they go crazy, they get into it, and then all of a sudden you hear it, wham! Like, huh? Yeah, this set screw goes flying. It's all this set screw on the spur. Ooh, nice. Or it'll be the set screw on your pinion that gets loose and gets flung out. We'll put these 4 button heads to hold the spur onto the spur holder. Otherwise, that'll suck too. Now this is metal into metal. Yeah, you should thread lock it. I'm just gonna crank it nice and tight with my hand, or with this tool, and then with my hand. Be assured that you can go too deep into the spur and damage the spur, and have the spur the wrong way around. It doesn't matter. No. Or does it? Whatever. I'm too lazy. I just want to get this done. It's kind of late, so I want to get home and make sure I can answer some questions tonight real quick, depending how lazy I am when I get home. I still gotta go eat supper, so yeah. So my trusty 2mm, custom made by a company that makes really sick tools. But there's my logo. Really rad, super light, hyper strong bits on it. A tool set like this would go for $500 to $600. There's only 2 of these sets like this in North America. Pretty cool. So I got a set made for myself and a set for a really special person. Yeah, so that's what that is. But I will have toolkits soon that will be available on the online store, obviously. I want to say January is the time frame on that one. That's more or less what I'm thinking that will be available to people, and to shop club members here too. So yeah. Okay, well there you go. There's all that, right? I spin the diff, it spins the spur. Beautiful. No resistance, just free. Oh, I just dropped my can. Luckily it was empty. That would have sucked. Alright, let's throw this bad boy on the chassis. Right? So it'll go on here. And obviously your motor is going to sit in here, like that, with the 4 little legs and the 4 little holes here with tapered screws. That's what that is. Don't want to use the wrong screws here. So that's what those guys are. There's 4 longer. There's 6 tapered heads in this bag, but there's 4 longer ones. That's obviously the ones holding the tranny to the chassis. Then there's 2 shorter ones. That'll be to brace this casing to this bulkhead. I'll show you in a second here. So I won't tighten them all until I have all 4 located and a little bit threaded in. Otherwise, you know, as you tighten stuff moves, and then one hole doesn't align properly, and then you kind of mess up the thread and So that's the way we rock this. I'll show you what I'm doing right now. So obviously I'm screwing in these guys. So I can tighten this one, right? And then I'll go X again. Not because that is the way you're supposed to do it, it's just that the way I do stuff. So it makes most sense doing it that way. 6. So there you go. Those 4 guys here is obviously this dude here, and these other 2 that you see here is for the toe plate on the front end of it. Obviously you're going to make the mouths towards the rear, right? Otherwise you're going to put this guy here and the pins won't locate into that mouth. So yeah, but I'm sure you know that, or you would see that on the manual. Then we have this brace here, which is a plastic guy. You can get an aluminum one like this, and it'll have 2 extra tabs here for the fan to sit on, so it can cool down that motor that sits down here, right? Anyway, wide legs to the front, narrows to the rear. It's got a location hole, and I don't like that, so I'm going to chop this off a little shorter so it sits neatly in there. So that's what that is. Bam, bam. The 2 long buttons go obviously in the bulkhead side of the world, right? And then there's 2 smaller taper heads will obviously go to the transmission side to brace it up. So yep, that's nice. Now, this is, I'm going to snug it by hand just to make sure it's perfect. Yep. Yep. So much dust in here. Okay, there's your motor, the brace onto that bulkhead. From here, it'll have a brace going towards a little bulkhead here, right in the front here. So there'll be a plastic brace going in here, and it'll be 6, so it'll be high for the battery here. It'll drop down just a smidge, and it'll raise up so it clears the servo here. Yeah, and that'll make this whole thing ridiculous. Okay, so I'm supposed to do the motor here right now. Not really worried about it at all. So obviously the next video would be, you know, mounting the servo and how I would center my servo without plugging it all in and doing it that way. I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple. Pretty simple. Let me see here. And then obviously, you know, we'll do the motor, the meshing of the pinion between the spur. The electronics will come. Well, we still got to build this front bulkhead, the little brace here, the motor, the speed controller, the radio, the receiver, gyro, servo, the whole nine. So we've still got a ways to go. But yeah, I think I need to keep that for tomorrow. I think is a better time to complete this bad boy here. So that way I get a good night's rest, and you know, you have something to look forward to, and hopefully you've commented that these videos are okay, or you'd like to, I don't know, you know, I need you to tell me what works for you. Obviously it's got to be reasonable. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate every single one of you that are watching. Thanks to everybody. I appreciate it. I'm having fun doing this, so I really want to keep on doing this, but I do need your feedback and obviously your views to justify that it's, you know, a good thing to keep on doing, or am I just dreaming, or what am I doing? Yeah. Anyway, like I said, thank you so much. Hope to see you guys soon. I hope everybody's doing good. If you're not, stand strong. Tomorrow's another day. Peace. Talk to you guys soon.